Good morning. Happy Monday. Taking a live look outside this morning after a much needed weekend of rain. Man, we needed it. It's been so hot and dry. Today, a little reprieve, and then we're cranking up that dial once again. Thanks for joining us. I'm Corey Rose.
And I'm Jordan Chavez. Man, that rain was a soaking rain, too. That was absolutely what the soil around here needed. Let's get checking your forecast now with meteorologist Chris Bianchi. Chris, good morning.
Good morning, Jordan and Corey. And you are exactly right. We needed that rain so badly. And also, it wasn't just a brief little downpour. For many of us, some spots, more than 2 inches of rainfall. Most of what you're seeing here, this is about the collective rain from what we picked up in the last 6 weeks or so. So we didn't just see just a little bit of rain. We saw a substantial amount of rainfall most of that Saturday night. And a few spots picked up some meaningful rain yesterday, although yesterday, frankly, was a bit of a dud. Right now, things are a bit on the calm side. And for today, we'll top out in the low to mid 80s. Average high for today is 91. Will be about 5 to 10 degrees cooler than average thanks to northerly winds. But those northerly winds are going to pull down some Canadian wildfire smoke from the north, and I'll have more on that in the next few minutes. Meantime, temperatures right now on the cool side. We're mostly in the 50s, eastern plains, 40s for us in the high country, and that radar pretty quiet right now. We do have a few rumbles of thunder in the far eastern plains, far eastern Yuma, Sedgwick, and Phillips counties. Otherwise, we head later on through today. I'm expecting mostly a calm picture for us as we've got some of those showers and storms mainly confined to southern Colorado, South Park, Park County, on south of Chaffee County. That's going to be the highest chance for a shower or storm for us in the next few hours. So it's drier for today. We get some of that wildfire smoke that I was talking about. I'm going to get into detail about that, show you where it's coming from, and also get into some of those warming temperatures later on in the week and some of the impacts from that. So more details on that. In the meantime, I want to send things over to Brianna for a look at traffic on this Monday morning.
Hey, Chris, thank you so much. Right now, we're taking a live look of I-25 for those heading either south or northbound. This is right near 38th Avenue. It's still pretty quiet this morning. Those cars coming towards us, so they're all the southbound lanes. The other side, northbound lane. So I do want to switch things over for our main maps real quick. You can see a lot of green on your screen, not seeing any delays this morning, no crashes to report. So if you're heading from Denver to Boulder, that is going to be an 18-minute drive. Same story for those taking I-225. So from I-70 heading into I-25, taking the I-225 corridor, that's going to be a 10-minute drive, 66 miles per hour. It's looking pretty good. A lot of green on your screen. Downtown to the tech center, both directions, 14 minutes.
Anna, thank you. This morning, Vice President Kamala Harris has garnered more than 500 endorsements from Democratic delegates to become their presidential nominee, less than 24 hours after President Joe Biden dropped out of the race for president. President Biden, of course, being the first to endorse her after making his historic announcement. Biden said Harris has his, quote, full support and endorsement. In the hours since Harris's campaign raised nearly $50 million in grassroots donations. Harris released a statement of her own saying she plans to earn and win the nomination and do everything in her power to unite the Democratic Party. While Kamala Harris is not yet the Democratic nominee, some people are already floating the names for who could be her vice presidential pick. Major media outlets, including NBC News, are reporting possible choices include several governors, like California's Governor Gavin Newsom, Pennsylvania's Josh Shapiro, Michigan's Gretchen Whitmer, and Kentucky's Andy Beshear, and Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, who also endorsed Harris. Now, news reporter Courtney Yoon joins us live in Denver this morning. And Courtney, political leaders across the world are responding to Biden's decision to step aside, including several here in Colorado.
That's right. Good morning, Corey. Polly Baca is a Colorado delegate and a former state lawmaker, a Democratic state lawmaker. Throughout her career, she's co-chaired 2 Democratic national conventions and was the first Hispanic woman to be elected to the Colorado State Senate. She says she hasn't seen an election cycle like this one in decades. Now, while President Biden's decision to drop out of the race may not have been a surprise, it's unusual how close it's happening to the election. It brings Baca back to the 1968 Democratic National Convention. Just months after Robert Kennedy's assassination, Baca went to the convention as a guest of the Colorado delegates as they worked to pick a new candidate for president. She later found herself marching in the streets of Chicago with Vietnam War protesters. Now, more than 50 years later, another candidate will need to be chosen, again from Chicago.
So it's going to be an exciting convention. It's not going to be dull, and I think that we're going to have to be aware of security and aware of making sure that we come out of that convention totally united behind our ticket.
At 83 years old, Baca says she may be the oldest delegate going to the national convention this year. She says speaking with other delegates, Vice President Kamala Harris seems like the natural and historic pick for the next presidential candidate. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we spoke with former Denver Mayor Wellington Webb, and we'll hear about what his takeaways are from this election cycle so far. Live in Denver, Courtney Yoon, 9 News.
All right, Courtney, thank you. Biden passing on the chance at a second term puts a lot at stake for local governments across the country. 90's anchor Kyle Clark explains why this decision is causing some uncertainty among Colorado Democrats.
Whether Colorado's Democrats will acknowledge it or not, there is relief in those quarters that President Joe Biden is no longer atop the ticket. You have to remember that only one congressional Democrat in Colorado's delegation came out to say that he should stay in the race. That was Diana DeGette in the very safe district in Denver. The rest of the Democrats in the delegation were either silent or a few, most notably Senators Hickenlooper and Bennett, tried to nudge Biden out of the race on his own terms. The fear for Democrats is that Biden atop the ticket could trickle down into the 8th congressional race. That's Colorado's most hotly contested. That's the district that goes from north of Denver up into Weld County and is currently held by Democrat Yadira Caraveo. There was feared that lack of Democratic enthusiasm could even hurt Democrats in state legislative races, could hurt Democrats' efforts to turn away some conservative ballot issues that voters will see in November. So now Democrats, including Colorado's DNC delegates headed to Chicago to make that choice official, are headed into uncertainty. But with uncertainty comes cautious optimism for those Colorado Democrats, replacing feelings that, quite frankly, a week or two ago were bordering on doom.
And ahead at 6, 90's political reporter Marshall Zellinger is joining us to discuss next steps and what we can expect as VP Harris kicks off her campaign.
Some top Republicans don't think Joe Biden is going far enough. Now they're demanding that he resign the presidency as well. In a post on Truth Social, Donald Trump wrote Biden, quote, was not fit to run for president and is certainly not fit to serve. House Speaker Mike Johnson echoed that and called on Biden to resign immediately. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is accusing Democrats of contradicting the will of voters who chose Biden as their nominee. The 82-year-old, who is a longtime friend of Biden, has not joined GOP calls for Biden to resign before his term ends. We have much more coverage of the president's historic decision on 9news.com and the 9 News app. It's free to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. New overnight, everyone is safe after a fire at a 2-story strip mall in Aurora. Fire crews say this happened around 5:30 last night near Mississippi and Chambers. Aurora Fire was able to put the fire out quickly, and they're now investigating. They didn't specify what caused the fire, but issued a reminder that oil rags, batteries, and ashes are all fire hazards and should be disposed of properly, never in a trash can.
Developing this morning, a police officer and a suspect are recovering after a shootout in Fort Collins. This all started when Fort Collins police responded to a crash just before 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. When officers got there, they say the man driving started shooting, leading to a short chase. That's when police say that he and officers started shooting at each other. The suspect ran toward Grandview Cemetery a few blocks away, and he and the officers kept shooting. The officer who was shot is expected to recover. The man who was also shot was arrested and then taken to the hospital. We have asked the sheriff's office how they're both doing, but have not heard back just yet.
And one thing to know about the weather for today, it'll be on the cool side, highs in the low to mid 80s for us. Isolated storm mainly south of Denver. Most of us likely stay dry for today as those shower storms mainly confined to southern parts of Colorado. But we have some wildfire smoke that's going to push on in from the north. I'm going to have details on that coming up in my full forecast in a couple minutes.
And for those taking I-25 this morning, right near 144th Avenue, not seeing any delays this morning. We are still very much in the green. So North Glen, Federal Heights area, those southbound lanes, that is going to be an 8-minute drive. You can see we're still crash free. Same story for those taking Fort Collins, I-25 all the way up north, and then Highway 85 for those heading into Greeley.
Brianna, thank you. A warning for those taking I-70 through Floyd Hill this week. Get ready for closures both during the day and overnight this week. Eastbound and westbound I-70 between County Road 65 and Hidden Valley will have overnight right lane closures until Thursday. Today, CDOT will close the right lane on the westbound side between Soda Creek Road and County Road 65. Then Wednesday through Friday, there are daytime right lane closures eastbound between Soda Creek Road and County Road 65. Finally, crews will close the left shoulder on both sides of I-70 during the day starting tomorrow through Friday.